So in case you didn't attend the previous sessions on press releases and social media, I've been active in marketing and commerce online in various forms since 1997. It's 26 years, 18 of which I've spent in Taiwan, working with small and medium enterprises, helping them to present their best face to the world and get more business by employing modern marketing techniques. And I'll be presenting a few of those to you today, of course. Number 3. There's 2 back-to-back sessions today, and the first will survey the field of online marketing in the broadest sense, and then e-commerce as a category within online marketing. Now, I've had to be very, very selective in what I cover due to time constraints, so I've included links to further important reading and resources here and there via QR codes. And you'll see them at the end of the text summary, at the end of each summary on the relevant slides. If you don't yet have a marketing plan for any business you're thinking of starting, or perhaps have already started, then you'll come away from today's sessions with all the elements you need. And if you already have a plan, hopefully you'll find plenty of inspiration to improve it from today's talk. That is my hope. Number 4. Let me emphasize that my comments today come from the point of view of my own experience. It's my point of view of where marketing is right now and what has worked for me and the companies I have worked with over the past few years, and what is working right now. In this first session, I'll focus on the underlying strategy of online marketing. Now, I could just rattle off a number of useful tactics, but tactics come and go. Understanding the strategic thinking that determines which tactics to employ in which situation is much more important. We'll get into specific tactics in the e-commerce session after firstly getting a grounding in strategy in this overview of online marketing. Number 5. Now, to talk about online marketing is a bit weird because marketing is almost all online these days, and has been for at least the last 10 years, really. True, there is still offline marketing going on, and in fact, some great opportunities exist in areas such as print magazines, both in terms of branded content and advertising. Still, any offline marketing should always connect to online marketing because it is through online strategies that you can scale your marketing efforts for maximum ROI, that's your return on investment. And I'll show you some good examples of this in the e-commerce session. Number 6. So in this session, I'm going to focus on these 4 things. I think these are the foundations of a good strategic approach to online marketing. The first is traffic and conversion. You need those 2 things, and you need to be doing both of them well. If you've got a problem with any online marketing that you do at any time, it'll be a problem with either your traffic or your conversion. Then I'll have a look at so-called Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, just to survey a very broad survey of where we are right now. And then I'll focus on the importance of the conversion funnel, formerly known as the sales funnel. Then I'll look at SEO and advertising, and that includes a consideration of AI, artificial intelligence, which is having a big effect. Number 7, yes. So traffic and conversion, I covered this in some detail in the previous sessions on public relations and social media, but I'll go over it here again because understanding what these are and the difference between them is central to success in online marketing. Traffic is the number of people, and that means potential customers who visit your website pages or come to your site from the advertisements you might place on other people's or companies' websites. And that includes social media websites. Conversion is where those people carry out an action that you want them to take on your website. For example, click a button, fill out a form, or buy a product or service. Each tactic you use in putting together an online marketing plan and your tactics collectively make up your strategy must be clearly aimed at maximizing your traffic, then gaining gaining conversions, traffic conversions. This goal must be the foundation on which any online marketing strategy you create is built. You need to be able to measure the success of your goal by simply monitoring your website traffic metrics and calculating your conversion rate. I won't go into that, but that's really not that hard to do. But it's the way to measure the financial benefit to your business of your online marketing activities. You need to be measuring what you're doing to calculate the return on your investment. Number 8. So online marketing in Web 1, 2, and 3. So to set the stage, let's take a quick look back at marketing and commerce over the last 33 years of the internet, the era of the World Wide Web. History is interesting in itself, but the reason I'm doing this is to highlight how history impacts the present. Companies persist in carrying on outdated practices that are hurting them and not helping them. So we're dealing with the World Wide Web, first of all. Remember, the internet was first set up in 1969 by the United States military. And the World Wide Web is a way that all computers can talk to each other by sharing a common language. It was only created back in 1990. And that gave us the website, which is the foundation of online marketing, whether it be your own website or somebody else's. We can divide the decades since then into 3 periods, what you'll often see described as Web 1, 2, and Web 3. Now, I'll go through each one in order to point out how the techniques from one period are still being carried out today by many companies. So the technology has changed, but the mindset of the previous generation of technology, particularly Web 1, is still around and really gets in the way. And the hint here is, don't you be guilty of the same mistakes. And I'll point out one big one a bit later on. Number 9. So Web 1.0. This is the period from 1991, which was the year when the first website went live, up until early in the new decade, the early 2000s. And if you had to pick an end date, it would be 2004, the year that Facebook went live. So 1991 to 2004, thereabouts. So this period was ruled by rough and basic search engine optimization, SEO. And the search engines were Alta Vista, Lycos, Excite, Northern Light, Yahoo, InfoSeek, and that's just to name a few. There were many, many around at that time. And keywords were the key to pulling in visitor traffic. That's how you got people to your website. Keywords were the way to getting a prominent position in a search engine's results page, just as they are now, but in a very different way. And I'll go into that in detail later in the talk. The technique of keyword stuffing was invented and widely applied by those people or businesses who understood the relationship between keywords and being on the first page of the search results, even at the #1 position. It was common for pages of just 1 or 2 keywords to be copied onto many pages throughout the website. And then what you did was set the text color to white, meaning those terms blended into the background and couldn't be seen by a reader. But the robot, the search engine robot, could see that. So that was what was important. So a warning to you is a version of keyword stuffing is still carried out by many marketing departments in a wide range of companies who think it helps today. No, it doesn't help. Keyword stuffing will actually cause Google to deliberately demote any page you do this to. The result will be no one will ever find it online. So your online marketing efforts will be wasted. Goodbye to successful online marketing if you do that. And I'll show you how to use keywords properly in the e-commerce session. So number 10, yes, Web 2.0. This dates from around 2004 when websites began to be interactive, and that is still where we are right now. From this time, the blog quickly turned into the way a writer of any topic imaginable could gather a huge audience in a fairly short space of time. And the blogging software, WordPress, was the tool of choice. It's just had its 20-year birthday, by the way, and it's now used for 43% of all websites across the entire internet. So with WordPress, by just turning on the comments, you could build a community quickly. You could respond to them, and just as importantly, they could respond to you and to each other. And that's an important point. So we had Facebook and YouTube, followed by Twitter and others, and they were the key sites and gave us the social media we know today. Now, from a business point of view, Web 2.0 gave you the ability to interact with your customers, and just as importantly, enable customers to interact with each other. That is the basis of success of the big platforms such as Google and Facebook and so on. And that is a key point for successful online marketing. When you become really useful to your audience and can help them out, they will stick with you and you will reap the benefits in business terms. And that principle is where the success and power of the top websites like Google and Facebook and now TikTok lie. They are the platforms that enable interactions amongst their millions of followers. And that's where we are now, and that's Web 2.0. Slide 11, Web 3.0. Now, this is a term that has become really popular lately. And some people have suggested that we won't be talking about Web 3.0 in a few years' time. But regardless of what we call it, it is real and consists of a large number, I should say, of networks that operate on top of the internet, but via their own proprietary software protocols. Now, the key technology here is blockchain technology, which is a publicly accessible database recording ownership of assets. That is cryptocurrency tokens and non-fungible tokens. It's just easier to say NFT, so I will. Yeah, cryptocurrency tokens and NFTs. So Bitcoin is the original and biggest, followed by Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Tron, and a plethora of others. They go on forever. Now, a key difference with Web 2 and Web 3 is it's all about decentralization, about giving control to users of the network rather than those who founded the network or now maintain the network itself. And that's done through holding tokens that are usually purchased by the users of the network. Now, Web 3 is a bit of a mess right now, but make no mistake, the developments in this area have huge implications for the future of business and e-commerce and the financial system as a whole. 12. In terms of the business use case, as that relates to online marketing, it's that tokenization enables customers to have ownership in a business they interact with. And I can't emphasize just how huge of a change that is. And by tokenization, we're talking about encoding rights in a unit of value created by a business or online entity of some kind. And that's engineered through cryptographic means. We won't go into that. So by being granted tokens by that business, almost typically by buying them, you actually own a piece of the business. Now, if that sounds like a security, i.e. a share, then you'd be right. And there is a battle going on right now as central authorities, particularly in the USA, attempt to regulate the issuing of tokens as they attempt to get this sector to follow rules that apply to the stock market. And that accounts for a bit of the mess that Web3 finds itself in right now. 13, yes. So when the cryptocurrency markets were soaring to great heights in 2021, there were a lot of early adopters, people with large online followings, the influencers, who sold tokens to their community members, which were minted on the Forte blockchain based Rally.io platform. And when the market crashed in 2022, so did the Rally platform, and the tokens became worthless, leaving the influencers who encouraged their community members to invest in them feeling foolish. And they ended up apologizing to their community over and over again. So community members had invested money in the tokens and lost money when those tokens crashed in value. So the founder of the influential Content Marketing Institute, Joe Pulizzi, was one of those. And his story is there. It's one of the QR codes I mentioned. You can click on that later and read through the details. It's an interesting story, important reading. Now, a big problem with the new business structures and organizations that have emerged in Web3 is that they are not, in fact, decentralized. They are more centralized. And so far, it's only the Bitcoin network that is the only truly decentralized entity in this new Web3 movement. All the others are controlled by their founders or a central group that acts as a board of directors. But watch the Web3 space, because none of this is going away, and the internet and the way we do business through it will be transformed. So I've suggested there's a great book there, The Ownership Economy, or rather an article, another one that I highly recommend. And the book there goes into the significance of blockchain tech, essential reading for everyone, absolutely everyone on the internet these days. So this is just a brief summary to help you get your head around this. So Web 1 was all about read. You would just have static web pages that were one direction. The publisher published a page on the internet and you would read it, and that's that. Web 2, read and write. Now we could interact with the publisher and talk back to them. And then with Web 3, you've got the read, write, plus the ownership. And that's the really big thing. And I can't emphasize just how big a deal that is. Well, we're still in Web 2 right now, and in the early stages of a transition to Web 3. That's where we are right now. All right, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of the session today. And I want to talk about what I've called the conversion funnel. And for any online marketing to be successful, you need to understand what a conversion funnel is and how to create one. The conversion funnel concept is derived from the sales funnel idea that predates online marketing for about 100 years. Yeah, the sales funnel has been around for a long time. Now, it's a strategic structure that you put in place to keep you focused on what is important. So what's important? Well, you need to funnel the traffic you get to your website in the direction of ultimately becoming your client or customer. Convert them, in other words, convert them to becoming your client or customer. Starting out with this fundamental objective underlying your business strategy will give you the most chance for success. It will, in the very least, save you money in relation to your online marketing spend and be the reason why your marketing activities are actually successful overall. That is, make you money. Over and over again, I see companies wasting money because they don't understand this most basic element in online marketing. In terms of the key elements of traffic and conversion, we can say that traffic is what we feed into the top of the funnel. Conversion is the point at which traffic in the form of visitors to your site are set on the path to becoming clients. So you're moving people through your funnel. And every website has a funnel, by the way, even if the owners of the website don't realize it. And when they don't realize it, it doesn't work very well, of course. Much better to deliberately shape your funnel to your own ends. So that's a model of a very basic funnel. It's the inverted pyramid model. You can find a wide variety of examples if you simply Google sales funnel example and go find, there's plenty of examples out there, but that's the basic idea where you have awareness of your brand or your product or your service, then there's a consideration, then people achieve a preference for a brand, and all the time they're doing their research and making selections. So the funnel is narrowing, so people are leaking out of your funnel. And the ideal funnel is one with very square sides where people don't leak out. And that's where if you're doing conversion practices properly, that won't happen. Your funnel will be more vertical and less pointy. And then there's the last stage of purchase and then loyalty. Now, there are a lot of versions out there, but I'll briefly give you an example of one version. Yes, Nicholas, 17, thank you. I'll briefly give you an example of one version that I personally find the most useful because it keeps things simple and relates directly to the traffic you want to attract to your website. That's your audience, and thus your potential customers and clients. Think about your funnel as having a top, middle, and a bottom. Each section corresponds to a segment of your traffic as they move through your funnel. As you put together your online marketing plan, you need to think about where each element fits. Is it tofu, mofu, or bofu? So tofu, top of the funnel, mofu, middle of the funnel, bofu, bottom of the funnel. And an important point to note here is that the pathway to conversion is hardly ever direct. People take a lot of time to do research and a lot of thinking and evaluating before converting, especially in B2B. And I should mention a piece of research from 2011 by Google called the Zero Moment of Truth. You can go back and find that research. It's very good reading. Google determined that back then in 2011, potential customers were looking at least 12 or 13 or 14, something like that, sources before they actually moved towards making a decision. I'm sure it's much more now. So the leakage out of funnels is quite a problem. So you really have to be doing conversion really well. And it's really what today's lesson's all about. And yes, 18. Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah. The customer journey is another way you'll see this discussed, another way of talking about this. It's really worth coming back to later and studying carefully this slide, and you'll get access to these at the end, of course. In this diagram, you have all the elements of an online marketing strategy right there. Just choose the elements you have the time and money to implement, and away you go. I'm not going to go through it blow by blow, but it's more or less aligns with the idea of a marketing funnel and how to get people to convert to becoming your customers or clients. 19. So let me return to the tofu model again and explain it further. So it will really help keep you focused on the categories of visitor traffic you want to bring to your website and ultimately turn into customers or clients. So tofu, top of the funnel. This is the widest range of potential customers that exist in your, what we call your total addressable audience. In other words, it's the total group of people who have some sort of interest in the area in which you provide a service or a product. Let's say you're a tourism company in Eswatini that specializes in nature tourism, and you specialize in ecocultural nature tourism especially. Then you would provide useful and interesting information on your website about nature tourism in general as one part of the content you create for your site. That's your tofu content. This traffic consists of people who are interested in nature tourism, but most likely haven't heard of Eswatini's nature reserves or perhaps ecocultural tourism in general, but they can learn about them, and your strategic goal is to make them aware of the existence of ecotourism in Eswatini. You're starting to move them through the funnel. If you just provide detailed information on nature tourism in Eswatini as your only form of content, you would be missing out on a lot of potential customers by not casting your net wide enough. So MOFU, middle of the funnel content and information on your website. And this is where you begin to narrow the focus of your content. And in relation to our ecotourism example, you'll publish information and articles dealing with issues and stories of ecocultural tourism from around the world, as well as specific content on Eswatini. You're starting to mix it in. This appeals to visitors who know more about specific ecotourism subjects and issues in Africa or even Eswatini itself. Then you move to the bottom of the funnel content, and that's where you give specific information about your products or your service, the details of your product offers, what value for money you offer to those visitors who are interested enough that they are now considering your product. The point is, you don't just publish information just on your product and your services. Okay, you've got to think in terms of the funnel of casting the net wide and narrowing it down and then focusing on the product at the end. Too many companies just focus on their own product, and they're not thinking about how can I help people with information that will bring them through to considering my products. Yes, 20. Oh, before we move on, here's an alternative view of the funnel presented in an ebook that was published in 2020. I highly recommend this. It's a really important document. I printed it out myself and I've ruined the copy. I've made notes and marks in it. It's essential reading, and it offers an alternative view of the sales or the conversion funnel, what they call the cash flow funnel. I think every person in business should read that book and keep it handy and understand it. No time to go into it here, but I highly recommend you take a close look at that book, and you can access it there with the QR code. 21. All right, this is how you get traffic, SEO. We're going to talk about this for a little while before we get into the the details of the conversion. So the top way to get traffic into your sales funnel is by search engine optimization, or SEO. So in this section, then, I'll go through the key issues that you should know about SEO. I'll follow up on a few of the most important issues with examples in the following session on e-commerce. I'll get into the real nitty-gritty of the details and show you how to do it. So I'll show you how SEO done properly can bring you wonderful and cost-effective returns on your investment in it. It's expensive up front, but in the long term, it's cheap. It's very cheap and very effective. So traffic to your site will come in the form of direct and referral traffic. People who type your website into the browser, or have a QR code on a brochure perhaps, or click from another website, a link in an article perhaps. Paid traffic, Google ads or other ads on other websites. I'll talk a little bit about that later in e-commerce. And there's organic traffic from the search engines. This is the one we're really interested in here. That's how potential customers find you on Google. Okay, and Bing, that's Microsoft's search engine, but Google is really the only game in town with over 90% of the market. 22. Defining SEO. What is this exactly? I'm sure you come across it, but here's a definition. SEO is where you optimize each page on your website for the search engines, or for Google. And note here, the important point I want to communicate here is you optimize a site page by page. Google does not rank websites, it ranks pages. You'll see it all the time when marketers talk about how to get your website to rank. Well, you can't. It's one page at a time. Google has always been page-based. Having said that, though, the techniques mentioned here are applied across the whole site, and there are technical structures and adjustments that you need to use consistently across the whole site to get the highest SEO benefit. But still, it's page-based. It's page by page. 23. There are two main choices for software to use to cut through all the details. WordPress, or the platform website builders such as Wix, Webflow, and Duda, and there are others. And they're easy to use, but not what I would recommend at the end of the day. Why use WordPress for SEO? Well, because it was designed for words from the start. It was designed for communication, and great online communication makes for great online marketing. And if there's one important point from today's talk, the whole thing, that'd be it. Great online communication makes for great online marketing. And the secret here is it's not the design and the pretty pictures, but the words you use and the way you use them that makes the difference. Don't let graphic designers design your websites and drive your marketing. Good communication, great communication must drive your online marketing. Now, despite the fact that WordPress is more demanding, yes, I admit that, in the last 10 years, the software has been developed to the point where it's just a matter of drag and drop to design attractive websites. You can do it. And there are page builders around now. There's a link there that will take you through to a consideration of those. There's WordPress Bakery, Divi, Elementor, Beaver Builder, a whole lot of them, plenty there to help you do that. 24, yes. So to make, there are two parts to SEO, on page and off page. And this is the first part, on page. To make sure every page on your website is optimized for SEO, you need to optimize for on-page elements, and those elements are actually on your site and off page, and those elements are not on your site. So technical or on-page elements. And you need to get familiar with technical aspects of websites, especially code tags, which is why technical SEO is often taken care of by a specialist who does nothing else but technical SEO. Either an agency or employed in-house in large companies. The thing that's good about WordPress is there are many plug-in software modules for WordPress sites that help to streamline this a lot. If you just don't have the budget to employ a specialist in this. Now, taking a brief look at the most important points, titles, headings, and descriptions are most important for each page. The number of clicks from the search engine through to your site and how long users engage with the site are important. And by optimizing a page for these points, you can ensure you do well in this area. The depth and accuracy of your site's information is hugely important, and I'll spend time on this in a moment. In fact, a lot of time on this because it's a really big deal. 25. So by off-page SEO, we're talking about brand awareness, links, and social signals. Brand awareness. Now, right now, if you're a company, a brand with a good deal of recognition and a fairly good profile online, you will automatically do better when you publish new content and new pages on the internet. Google is always out there with its robots searching for new, fresh content, and brands with good recognition and a good track record of publishing qualitative content do much better. It's probably the last 5, 6, 7 years that this has crept in. It's becoming more and more important. So if you had a brand that's not so big right now, or you're just starting out, it doesn't matter. You've got to start somewhere. But over time, it will really pay dividends for you. Backlinks, Google started out in 1998. That's when I first came across it. I liked it because it was the first search engine that gave you quality results for any search. And it did that by counting the number of backlinks. Each backlink was like a vote pointing to a website. So the more a website had, the better the website was. And that was more or less the truth, until everyone started to game the system and buying links and doing all those sorts of things. So over time, backlinks have become less and less important. And in fact, I have to say, I've done very little backlink building for my clients, and I've achieved great results just by quality content. And the last one there, social signals from the social media websites are also included. Not a big thing, but they do have some impact. 26. EAT. EEAT. So this is SEO made easy. If you only do one thing in relation to technical SEO, focus on EAT. EEAT. The better you do EAT, the higher your traffic and the higher your conversions will be. The stories and information and articles on your website are the traffic magnets, and Google uses EEAT principles to assess your content against others who are delivering information on the same topics. So expertise means you're an expert in what you're writing or talking about. So if you're a business owner in ecotourism, actually being involved in the business will give you the knowledge to write and talk about it. Just watching the time here. So demonstrated expertise and authoritativeness leads to higher trustworthiness. So, for example, it's the difference between getting a marketing company's writer to write about ecotourism topics that they may have no expertise in, let alone experience in, and a worker in the business who will know a lot more but may not be the best writer. So, yeah, if you've got someone in your company that knows a lot about your business, someone, if you're in ecotourism, someone who gets out in the field and takes tourists around on the various experiences that you sell as a part of your ecotourism package, that's fine. If they're not a writer, they can just write something else, jot down notes, and then you can use a writer. Go get a professional writer to fix it up, or use AI writers, which I'll talk about in just a minute. I think right now it's important not to rely on people who are not experts. So EEAT, experience in what you're talking about, hands-on, expertise in what you're talking about. If you've got experience, you're going to have expertise. That gives you authority, and that leads into trust. Now, Google is measuring those things all the time, and the higher a web page, the better a web page, I should say, does in those elements, the better it'll be for you. It's just money in your pocket, basically. That's what it comes down to. Here's an EEAT hack. Put very simply, you need to follow this two-step process. There's one question you need to ask of yourself, or get a friend to walk in your front door and ask it. Why are you awesome as a business? And you tell them why you're awesome. That's fine. Now prove it. You just prove it. You've got to lay out the reasons why you are awesome, why you are great. You just can't rattle them off and say, yeah, we're a fantastic business. And businesses doing this all the time. Their marketing consists in that, trumpeting loudly how great they are without any proof. Well, follow the EEAT principles and you will have that proof. And a simple secret here is don't create, but document. Don't be a creator. And that's a word that describes the new economy of influencers that increasingly dominate the online world right now. As a business, don't follow the model of the modern creator economy. Be a documenter, not a creator. Document what you do using the 5W and the 1H approach. Who, what, when, why, and how. Just apply that formula and you can't go wrong. Truly, it's that simple. Now, AI, well, yeah. Oh, I've got an echo, Nicholas. All right, it's gone now. So AI in search. I won't go into this deeply. I'll just make the point that it's been around for a while and it's been in the background for quite a while. Rank Brain came along in 2015. We've got BERT, which is short for a very long acronym. It's an acronym for a very long, complex concept. That was 2018, and the new direction is now Google Search Generative Experience. Look, we as marketers and online marketers, we don't have to worry too much about this. AI has been around for a while and operates quietly in the background. It's getting bigger and better. Well, we could argue about that. It's just doing its thing, so we just have to let it get on with what it's doing and just do what we can do well. That's really all we can do. So I won't spend a lot of time on that. Now, 29, AI writers. All right, so a year ago, we saw the news about ChatGPT nearly exactly a year ago. It was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. Is it the answer to the problem of creating great EEAT content that brings massive traffic to your website and gets conversions? No, it's not. And the problem is, one of the big problems is fact checking. You see, These tools scrape the internet, and there's a whole problem with whether it's actually legal for them to do that. So they pull information from a high range of sources, and you have to check for the truth, the veracity of what it is that they're writing. And the solution is for human analysis that can be rewritten by AI. We as marketers need to be writing this ourselves, and then maybe get AI to come in and help rewrite what we've written and make it cleaner. If you're not a good writer, using an AI writer can help you a lot, but don't rely on it to create the base content. And the other thing now is that AI does not produce its own unique voice, and your unique voice it's a branding signifier for your company, and companies that do this well do it uniquely. It's a unique selling point. So I would suggest that you use an AI writer to plan and give structure to anything you are looking to write, and then write that yourself, or use it to rewrite your content if you are grammatically challenged and you don't write very well. And just recall that Google had a policy of demoting AI content last time I looked. So using AI writers is not the way to produce the high quality EEAT content you need on your site to bring the volume of traffic and the right traffic that you need. So there's a whole lot of resources you can check at your leisure later to help you make sense of some of that. So, all right, advertising. And so we're moving on from SEO as a means to bring traffic to your website. And the other way is to bring traffic into your funnel is through online advertising. So search engine marketing, or SEM, is often the expression used to refer to online advertising, although marketers still argue over the differences or lack of differences between SEM and SEO. Let's just call it SEM and observe that it's all mainly about Google and Facebook. Google and Facebook ads. Google has the ads in the search engine, or ads in the display network, or rather display network on other people's websites. Facebook has the in-feed ads that just look like a regular post, except they're labeled as sponsored. Now, keywords are central here, just as with SEO, and I'm going to get into keywords very soon in depth. So whether you do that research and put it together all yourself and do your ads yourself, or pay someone who really knows what they're doing, having a funnel is essential. So whether you do this yourself or get someone else to do it, you need to have a strategic funnel, a plan in place. That's really important. And since e-commerce strategies rely heavily on advertising, I'll leave a discussion of online advertising with an example until the next session. So 31, email list. This is a cornerstone of your online marketing plan and should be central to what you do. So visitors who have shown some interest in your industry, or more specifically in what you sell, be that a physical product or service, should be given an incentive, or there should be some effort you make to bring them on to an email newsletter, a list of some sort. Any website visitor that engages with your site should be encouraged to join your list. And that's a very important part of the journey they are taking to becoming your customer. And you are leaving a lot of money on the table if you're not building an email list. Even if you don't do it well, it will still work for you. Email works wonderfully well, even if you're lousy at it. Yeah. And if you're even a little bit good at it, it works really well. So building a list for e-commerce site is even more essential, because you will make more sales from the list than directly off the website. That is, the conversion power of the email list is generally much higher. Now, I'm going to say a lot about this in the next session on e-commerce. So let's take our 5-minute break and then get into the e-commerce. So take a breath, stretch your legs, grab a coffee, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Alrighty, we're back. Let's go. Okay, Nicholas, can we have 33? Yep, here we go. So, in this session, I'll cover what for me are the important issues in e-commerce, with an emphasis on practical examples. A little less theory here. Once again, there's no back, just for now. Yeah, I've had a hard time choosing what to leave out. Many elements I couldn't leave out, so we may end up going a little into the question time. But there's some important stuff to mention, so it's well worth it. So 34, yes. So yeah, a very important point to backstop everything here that I lay out in this session is that if you follow a few foundational principles consistently, and that's the magic word for online success, if there's ever a word, consistency. If you are consistent, you will be successful. And the consistency thing is the hardest. You'll always find some excuse, be that the cost or time involved, to stop doing what you're doing. And even a temporary stop ends up being permanent. And yeah, just keep doing it. And if you think there's a problem, change a few things, but don't stop what you're doing. 35. So in order to put a frame around my comments, here's my working definition of e-commerce. So if you're in business, then you are by definition in e-commerce. Every business should have a website, and the purpose of a website is ultimately to sell a product or a service. Let me just dim this. What most of us think of e-commerce today is the Amazon or AliExpress type of operation, big platforms with lots of physical products for sale. But the truth is, every business is an e-commerce business. And if you follow basic principles consistently, you will have success. Well, you'll have success. There's my pig. As long as you have a good product. Great marketing is built on great products and services. Without those, you won't last long. This is an important point. As the saying goes, you can't put lipstick on a pig. It doesn't change the fact that it's still a pig. If your products are not what you say they are, or your product is not as good as you say it is, the market will quickly find out, and that will be it. It might enjoy a brief run, but it won't last. It'll be over quickly. So the magic is not in the marketing, it's in the product. And great marketing comes naturally out of a great product. 37. So e-commerce website software, I'm going to run past this pretty quickly, but you can come back to this, and there's all the top platforms compared there. Yeah, this is by Cloudways, who did this survey. Thanks to them. They're a cloud server provider, which I use for my personal websites, and I can recommend. So I have no shares in the company. They just do a very good job. Link to the research, you can follow that up at your leisure. 38. So basically, to summarize that, WooCommerce has 50% of the market, WooCommerce plus WooThemes. And it works as an extension of WordPress, which is a software module you plug in to a WordPress site. And it's fairly easy to set up and maintain. If you are unfamiliar with WordPress, refer to that primer there from the WP Beginner website. And that site has everything you need, both for the beginners and intermediate users of WordPress. And that'll bring you up to speed quickly there. So by using WordPress, you get all of WordPress's powerful SEO advantages, and it has unmatched SEO advantages, which we'll turn to in a moment. But you do really need someone who knows WordPress and WooCommerce, because it can get complex quite quickly. Having said that, WordPress has become much easier to customize in the last 5 years, as the page builders have opened up website building to many more people. And the problem there is to do too much customization. They're too much fun to play around with. So there's got to be, you've got to restrict yourself there and not go overboard. That's where the bugs can start to creep in, since you have to make the WordPress theme you're using work seamlessly with both the page builder as a plugin and the WooCommerce plugin. And WordPress will crash when plugins don't talk or cooperate together well. So that's you've got to be very careful about that. So WordPress is unbeatable for SEO, I'll say this, but it was not built for e-commerce, even though it has been adapted to e-commerce very well. Now, Shopify is a powerful piece of e-commerce software that operates out of the box pretty much immediately. You can build a presentable website and get payments up and running a lot quicker than you can with WooCommerce. But with the convenience comes inflexibility. WordPress is infinitely flexible, although developers who like working with their own website code will strongly argue back at me with that. Because you have to hack the code, so they say. You've got to chop it up, but it's hard to work with. But apart from that, if you're doing it yourself in your own business, or you get a WordPress expert to help you, and there's millions online these days, WordPress is doable. And there's a guide to that there you can peruse at your leisure later. All right, so there are three main issues that we're interested in here with e-commerce: discovery, the ordering and conversion, and fulfillment. Now, discovery. You need to be visible online to be able to be discovered. That makes sense. Discovery is all about traffic and minimally about conversion. Conversion is where you get the click from the search engine or the ad. But you need to have done the work to position yourself to get the click in the first place. You can't get a click through to your website or landing page if prospects can't see it. So visibility, discovery is everything for e-commerce. So the second process is conversion, and it's an equally crucial part of the e-commerce process. One of the biggest problems in e-commerce is shopping cart abandonment. Now, a buyer may go through the whole process of buying a product or subscribe to a service, but leave before clicking the Pay Now button. Great conversion optimization will minimize buyer abandonment. Fulfillment, it's not our focus today. That's the actual delivery of the item, the logistics of getting it into the customer's hands. Digital products, where you can do it via a download, that's easy. For physical products, there are fulfillment services around, or you just put it in the mail yourself. A lot of huge e-commerce businesses have started from those humble beginnings with the local post. But discovery and conversion are what we'll focus on here today in the time we've got left, which is ticking away quickly. Right, let's go to number 40, yes. So, discovery relies on, firstly, on SEO. And the example I'll go through in detail here is from quite an unlikely source. The company is an OEM and ODM manufacturing firm. That is, they're a B2B outsourcing solution for brands from around the world who get them to make components that go into their products, which sometimes includes design input, which is ODM. Let's not get too distracted by that. But this company, it's the last company in the world you would expect to do well in e-commerce. And it just goes to show that anyone can do it. That's why I'll go deeply into this. It's just a matter of doing it right. Anyone can do this. And although they produce nearly all products for other brands, they do have a limited range of their own brand products, or OBM, as it's called in the industry. So I've just given you a picture of the product there just for context. 41. So it fits on the bottom part of a bike, like so, if you can make that out, which allows the crank to turn, which drives the bike forward when the rider pedals. But this product design is very special. It's unique in the world, and it sells very well for two reasons. The product is firstly unique, and it's very good. The market tried it out when it was first released, found that it performed exactly as stated and is durable. And the second reason it sells well is on account of the conversion funnel we constructed in order to bring traffic and encourage conversion. Now, I'll examine how we did this in order to illustrate general points that anyone can follow to achieve the same result, as long as your product is good, of course. This worked mainly because the product was super. We marketed it, we got it in front of people, and it took off. 42. The driver of traffic on this company's website is the blog. So if you want to bring traffic to your website, you need a blog. And if calling it a blog sounds cheap and tacky, I know a lot of companies I talk to go, blog? If that sounds cheap and tacky, then call it a review or magazine, since that's really what it is. It is where you publish information that is useful to your target audience, who form your pool of potential customers. Or secondly, it answers questions your audience wants answers to. And for today's example, in planning the blog, we mapped out the total number of topics that our target audience searches for on a regular basis, beginning with the topics that are most popular. All of these topics were then divided into tofu, top of the funnel, tofu, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. And the example I'm going to go through here is actually a bottom of the funnel example, a bottom of the funnel piece of content, because it concerns a particular product that the company sold into the market directly, one of the few that they make for this purpose. 43. Yeah. There we go. So the quickest way to find, we're diving deeply into this. In limited time, we've got to do it this way. The quickest way to find topics is to scrape competitors' websites. So you find the top 3 competitors or most popular websites in your market niche, first of all. Then use special software to go get the information you want. That'll get you started. Then later on, you scrape other competitor websites for even more topics. So what I'm talking about here, of course, is keyword research. But the keyword approach to deciding what's the best content to publish in order to bring traffic has changed a lot over the last 10 years. It's not Web 1 keyword stuffing and keyword research, it's Web 2. So, and that involves topics, the notion of a keyword as designating a topic area. And I'll explain that in greater detail soon. So anyway, you need a tool, a software tool. And the one I use is from the company Mangools. Others include the super heavy duty Ahrefs, not yet, and SEMrush tools and many more. These are awesomely powerful and useful, but very expensive. So the Mangools keyword finder is very accessible, quite cheap, and it's been acknowledged, long been acknowledged as one of the best, especially for the price. It's very affordable. I use it to scrape sites and build a comprehensive list of topics. Then I go through each topic one by one, building a comprehensive content around each. 44. So returning to our example, the particular keyword we are interested in here is eccentric bottom bracket. So I input the keyword into the tool that shows me the monthly volume. And when I'm doing the research here, anything over 50 per month, and I get interested in that, it's worth pursuing. The number is only an approximation, by the way, of the actual monthly searches. It's not accurate. And I find this tool actually underestimates the actual number of searches because I compare those to the site analytics on the website. So use this number relative to other keywords to help you decide which to prioritize. So you've got limited time and money and resources. So you've got to use a way to select which are the best. And 45, this is the way you do it. The keyword difficulty measure in Keyword Finder is extremely accurate and the best feature of this tool. So when you start building content on a site, the site does not have much authority. As more and more content is published over time, then it does get more authoritative. And that will help your brand as your brand becomes more recognizable and authoritative, that translates into becoming much more visible over time, and you become much more discoverable. Once this happens, you can target keywords that are more difficult to rank for. But when you're just starting out, you need to target the easiest keywords. So keywords with a high volume and low difficulty are the perfect keywords to target at this stage. And the ultimate goal is to get as close to the #1 position as possible. So when people fire that keyword into the search engine, you come up at the top. That's the aim. Top 5 is good, but being at least on the front page somewhere is the minimum to aim for, and that's the top 10. But you won't get there overnight. It will take many months in most cases. So this sort of SEO technique, it's cost effective over time, but it does take time. Yes, 46. So as we planned in this project, the client website is in the #1 position, but it didn't start out that way. We publish articles on many other topics, most of which made their way into the top 10 eventually. The thing is, there were many more popular topics that we published information about before getting to this one. And those articles were top of the funnel and middle of the funnel, tofu and mofu content. And many of those articles rank highly too. So we had established a base level of authority for the domain. And read up there on domain authority to find out more about that later. But we finally got around to the eccentric bottom bracket topic, a bottom of the funnel topic, published an article on it, and it got to the top position over a few months. Yeah, #1 in a few months. So when the company released its new unique product in this category, it was just a matter of adding it to the already published article. So we just updated the article with the new information. So being on the first page for this keyword topic ensures that we'll get maximum traffic into our conversion funnel. And being at the #1 position absolutely maximizes the traffic into your funnel. And you probably know this already, but you get less traffic the further down the page you appear, a lot less traffic. That's why everyone is so keen to get to the first page. So that's doing the keyword research. Let's have a look at conversion. And this is where the importance of conversion comes in. Optimizing conversion is essential for maximizing the number of prospective customers moving through your funnel. And it all starts with structuring the way you appear in the search engine's page. You need to aim to appear just like a paid advertisement. So someone searching on Google becomes traffic to your site only when they click on you and are referred through to your page, only when they click on your result. So you have to provide maximum encouragement to these potential visitors to your site viewing the search results to click to your site and nobody else's. It's a big competition there. So you've got to stand out. You've got to sell yourself. You've got to sell your entry in the search engine results page to get that click. It's all about getting that click. So I've just outlined what I did here to make this a very appealing entry to click on. So using the word ultimate, it's what in the discipline of copywriting we call a power word. A power word is one which has been proven to encourage prospects to take a step towards a sale. So using it here increases the chance that a person interested in eccentric bottom brackets or even in the market to buy one will click on this result. So ultimate communicates the ideas that this article contains everything you need to know about the topic, and there's no need to click on any of the other choices in the search engine results page. So I'm saying to everyone with that entry is that, no, this is all you need. You don't need the others. Click on ours only, and it's been very successful. So back to that one for now, Nicholas, thank you. So the description snippet that appears below the title is also vitally important. So if you don't provide one, Google will just grab any text from near the top of the page and insert it for you. So you need to take advantage here and put your own carefully crafted text to further push the searcher to click on your article and not someone else's. The description here contains all the valuable points that we know prospective buyers are looking for in a good eccentric bottom bracket. So your is another power word, as is you, which is used further on in the description. You appeals directly to a viewer in an almost conversational way and helps to keep them reading through the description. If a salesperson is talking to someone face to face, supposing in a shop. Just think about the situation in a shop. They're trying to get the sale. They are at least going to use you. Better still, of course, they'll be using a person's name, and that's why a salesperson will ask you for your name. But it's difficult, if not impossible, via the internet, especially with all the concern with online privacy. But using you still does a very good job. And if you want to supercharge all the copy, all the words on your website, be more conversational and use you a lot. 48. Now, the next phase of the conversion process is to get the visitor to engage. Sorry, I've lost my place. To get the visitor to engage with the page. I've had a techno meltdown here. Bear with me. Yes, you want them to actually engage with the page and actually read through it. You don't want to lose them from the funnel at this point. You want to contain funnel leakage. You don't want people leaking out of the funnel. So basic SEO requires that your keyword be used in the title of an article. And if you can put the keyword right at the front, then that's even better. I'll also draw your attention to the difference between the title that appears in Google and the title that appears in the article. This site is built in WordPress and enables you to have a different title to display in the search results and on the website itself. The search results title is aimed at getting the click, and the website title simply describes the article for use where it appears across the website. If you get familiar with WordPress, this will become second nature. So the conversion elements here are the way this introduction is constructed. And it has one purpose, which is to get readers who are prospective customers to move further into the article and not click away. Using a question is a great way to engage attention because our minds are constructed to immediately begin working on an answer to a question when we are presented with one, even if we are not consciously aware of it. And I can't emphasize the importance enough of white space, using lots of it. The guaranteed way to lose readers on any page on your website, and those are prospective customers that are leaking out of your funnel if this happens. The way to lose them, guaranteed way, is to put big blocks of small font text in front of them. Don't do it. Use lots of white space, which acts to relax the mind and makes a piece much easier to skim through. And that's an important point. Very few readers read an article from the top to the bottom, word by word. They skim over it. We all do it. We just glance through an article just to see if it's got information we want. So if you build it for that to start with, you're going to get a much higher conversion rate. People will stick to the article. They'll actually go in, dive in and read it and spend time on it. That's what you'll want. And your goal in structuring the article is to achieve that at this point. So 49. So a table of contents a little below this on the page is really important too. That assists in the skimming process because people can see then at a glance, at a split-second glance, what information is there. And that'll be information you know that they want to know about. 50. Now, carefully constructing each section of the article is crucial in getting readers into the article. This is what happens when they click on the content where it says, or where it asks, what is an eccentric bottom bracket? Bang, they go to there. So that's what they see when they click on that question. And the reason we included that is because it's one of the most searched questions in Google. And including it adds much more SEO power to the article. And again, using plenty of white space, using conversational language, making it easy to read. And one sentence paragraphs are fine. They work really well. The easier you make it for your visitors to read, the higher your conversion rate will be which translates directly into more revenue for your business. That's the connection between this sort of conversion, structuring for conversion and your e-commerce revenue. 51. Inserting plenty of images also makes the article much more engaging. And you'll see I bolded the text in that sentence. I've done that because it's an important point I'm making there. And I have done the same thing in several other places in the article. Once again, it helps for the skimming. It stands out, so it catches the eye and people stop and look. And oh, what's that? Now, a critical element in the construction of an e-commerce conversion funnel is the call to action, or CTA for short. It's a critical element in getting the sale. And you've got to ask for the sale. Not asking for it, or rather asking for the sale, is no guarantee of getting it. But if you do ask for the sale, you'll get many more sales because of it than if you don't ask for the sale. And throughout this article, I have no less than 4 calls to action positioned evenly throughout the whole article. And it's a technique borrowed from classic long sales pages, which you'll see in action right across the internet. Now, this page is not a long sales page, but it does use elements of that technique. So those calls to action come up several times. So it maximizes the chance that a person will convert through to the very last stage, which is actually purchasing the product. 52. So as soon as the prospect clicks through to the order page, we hit them with what we call social proof. So bestseller here means lots of buyers have purchased the product, which is an endorsement of the product. And it's the truth, by the way. It is a bestseller. And what we could have done further here is put endorsements from buyers. You'll see that on a lot of websites, and it's very, very powerful. Highly recommend that you get testimonials, we call them, from customers and drop them in these pages, and the potential buyers see that, read through it and go, yes. Social proof is crucial to conversion and good e-commerce revenue. I haven't got it here because the internal politics of the company, I won't go into it, but it's a little tricky. I wish they would do that. Another key element there is free. That's a magic word. You'll see there's a reason why it's used right across the internet. It really stops a person in their tracks. Everyone loves something for free, and they'll stop and have a closer look at anything that attached to that. And free shipping here is important because shipping is a major reason why potential customers don't complete the checkout process. Usually, the cost of shipping is calculated during the checkout process. And the customer goes through all the steps and gets to that and goes, no, too expensive. Bang, they're gone out of the funnel, probably never to return. So if you make it free, you remove that major source of friction, and you recover the cost by building it into the price of the item, of course. So free shipping is a really good idea. Now, we don't have a WooCommerce or automated checkout on this site. The company keeps it simple by merely asking a customer for an email order to be sent. A PayPal link is sent to the customer, and they pay via that link. Then the sales staff box up the item and send it off. And the process works because it is one product amongst just a few. This company primarily manufactures for other brands, but it works really well. If we did have a lot of products here, then we'd have a WooCommerce automated process in place, but we just don't need it here. 53. In relation to the checkout process, a compromise between an entirely manual checkout process and an automated process such as you get with WooCommerce or Shopify is to set up a third-party checkout mechanism. And this is where your checkout and payments gateway are hosted on a third-party website like Thrive Carts or ClickFunnels. I haven't given the links there. You can look at them up online. They're really big and you can find them really easy. The thing is, when someone clicks the buy button or whatever call to action you have to get the sale, they seamlessly link over to either Thrive Carts or ClickFunnels or one of the others, and they go through the process there. And I encourage you to look deeply into that if you're going into e-commerce. It's we could spend hours just on the functions in there because they are all designed to maximize revenue at this stage of the conversion funnel. Yeah, no time to do it today, but that's an option for you. So you can have a fully automated WooCommerce or Shopify site, or you can do it the way this B2B company is doing it, where it's not automated, or something in between with the Thrive Carts or ClickFunnels. 54. So we've very quickly covered the mechanics of SEO and how to use basic SEO to feed traffic into our conversion funnel and generate sales. So advertising is the other means of generating traffic, and two main advertising choices are Facebook and Google. So you've got google.com or the Google Display Network, you've got Facebook ads, and those are the ads we all see in our news feeds. So I'll briefly cover Facebook and Google ads. Offline to online advertising and also an option, so I'll give you a quick example of that. And I'll just say, mastering Google and Facebook, these ads platforms, takes time. And there are advertising agencies that do this for you. And you may find the ROI much higher if you leave what is quite a specialized process and work to the experts rather than do it for yourself. It'll save you time and maybe money. But being armed with this sort of knowledge helps you, I guess, evaluate what those people say when you're canvassing for providers in this area, because there are a lot of them out there and there's only a few good ones. You need a way to evaluate for yourself who will be good for you so you don't blow your money. But a platform may be the way to go for you. So 55. So Facebook is, if the Facebook here, it's a Facebook ad, if that's a source of traffic to your conversion funnel leading to your product or service, your goal is to focus exclusively on the conversion of that traffic into your customers or clients. So the crucial key to success here is being able to use the Facebook's ad platform. So to use it well, you need to have done the research to know exactly who your audience is. And the more accurate your targeting, the lower your cost of the ad and the more prospects you will get to consider your product or service offering. Yeah, the key to Facebook ads and low costs, because it can get expensive, is to target really well, and you need to know your audience. You need to have done that research. So this is a quick example that showed up in my Facebook feed recently. It's one of many I've seen, but one of the few good ones. There's not many that do this well. So Art Logo sells the ability to create a unique signature logo for businesses. So I'll go through the basic elements of what's good about this, which can help you think about the process. So they use an old sales techniques before and after, which works really well. Because you get the benefit to see the result of Art Logo's service directly. So the key to a Facebook ad is don't try to be clever. Simply present the value of your product as simply and clearly as possible. And doing something like this does it really well. There's a description up the top of the ad which simply and clearly states the distinctive and unique value of the product. Yeah, that's okay, but the before and after really does the job here. It's really distinctive and eye-catching. And then they use the fear of missing out principle sales technique at the bottom. And that's the call to action. Learn more And the call to action is essential because that's where people leave Facebook and go to the website, to a landing page, 56. Now they just go, the art logo has said, sent prospective customers straight through to their homepage, which so many companies do that. It's a pity, it's a waste. This is where their funnel is going to leak massively as people, they came to learn more about that product and the before and after, and here they get lost. So it's a missed opportunity. Now, maybe this company has done their research and this works well if they see this webinar and then take issue with my evaluation, but I don't think so. I don't think this is a good way to go. Instead, you need a landing page. But 57, I'll draw your attention to what they do very well. They invite you to join their mailing list. And what they're looking to do here is that they're looking to convert anyone who does not buy from them straight away. And that'll be most people won't be buying from them. They're looking to convert those people into a subscriber on their email list. So they're building their email list. This is a really great example on what everyone should be doing. So yeah, building the email list is the essential way and the super way, the way to supercharge sales. Yeah, as I said at the end of the last session, having an email list where you reach out regularly to prospective customers and make them great offers at regular intervals is essential. 58. So I recommend this book to you. I've got both editions, first one and the second one. I couldn't resist when the second edition came out. I just had to grab it. It's excellent. It's the indispensable guide when it comes to email techniques and how to structure your product offers for maximum ROI to your business e-commerce. It's a place to start anyway, and then you adapt the principles and techniques to what works best for you. There's lots of great advice on e-commerce business model design there. And this book is actually the entrance to a conversion funnel for the ClickFunnels software that I mentioned earlier. But you'll find them on the web easier and you can get a copy sent to you. And it's free. Yes, they use an email business model called Free Plus Shipping, which and they go through many others. I can't recommend this highly enough. It's essential if you're going to go into e-commerce. Right, 59. Mastering Google's Ad Manager platform, as with Facebook's ad management platform, is the key to successful advertising with them. Keyword selection is really important as in SEO, and you can use the same tool as you do for SEO to do this. But thinking about using an online ads platform such as Optimizer, and PPC here just means pay per click. So these folk, for a hefty fee, yeah, I must admit, they will let you cover your advertising across Facebook, Google, and a whole other areas all in one spot. So that can be an alternative to getting an outside agency to do it. You could employ someone to do that, perhaps. That's something to think about. 60. So this is a Google ad funnel that I like very much. So now I saw this ad. This is it's about online trading. The subject isn't important, but the structure is, and the way they construct their funnel is really well done. The aim of the ad here is not to sell anything. No, you're not trying to sell anything. All you're aiming to do is get the click. The aim of any ad is not to directly sell something, but to get a prospective customer moving along a conversion funnel. All you want to do is move them to the next stage. You're not trying to sell anyone to anything right here. You've got to hold your horses, and you've got to do that later. So the headline here is crucial. And you need to have the value proposition of the product clear and visible. And they do it there. Trade from anywhere. They know their audience, and they know that's what their audience wants to be able to do. Trade from anywhere. It's usually in an office somewhere in a 30-story skyscraper. And the person has the app on their phone and they want to be able to do it. wherever they are. Yes. So if they click on the ad, they go through to a landing page, not to a website with general information about Trade or any of that, about the company. No, bang, straight onto the website. You go straight to the dedicated landing page where you're either in or you're out. No mucking around here. Now, a careful study of the way this landing page has been put together is really valuable. So you can come back to this and just look at everything I've underlined there. And the keywords here are free. They've used free, probably not as much as they could or should. No risk comes up all the time. And it is no risk for them because no one's asking them to spend any money. They're just asking for a free demo account. So this is what we call in the business, it's a freemium business model. So people try it for a certain time and then they either after 14 days pay to get full access, or after pay to get the complete range of tools made available to them. So the key conversion here is the sign up to try out of the app. And that's what they're after. So there's a little bit of information for people to fill out there. That's a bit of a roadblock, but the fewer the fields there, the better the conversion. They don't have many, and I guess they've tested and found this works all right. So, and then send, bang, and off they go. They have become almost a customer. So that's a great conversion funnel example just there. Very simple, very straightforward, no mucking around. 62. So offline to online conversion funnels that I just briefly mentioned to you earlier. So they're also an important tool for you to take advantage of. So this is where an ad in a print magazine or newspaper brings a person into an online conversion funnel. So if you attend international trade shows, for example, there are often newspapers or magazines only published during the show, such as this one, the Show Daily in Taipei, and then over in Frankfurt once a year. And I'm going to show you the absolutely best use of an advertisement placed in the magazine is that it needs to be the entrance to an online conversion funnel. So 63, this is not what to do from one of the advertisers. Yeah, sorry, Samox, but maybe you can listen to this advice and fix this up. Number one, the ad is very hard to read, and people are just flicking through a magazine. They're looking at the articles. They're not looking at ads. So you've got to attract their attention, and this doesn't do it. And there's nothing there to appeal to the skimmer, the browser, and there's no pathway to anywhere else. Just including a QR code here would have been great, a big one saying, here's more information about what we do, or a value proposition or something like that. Now 64. That's a much better example by VGrip. That's a really good ad. Clear message telling us exactly what the product is, why it is unique, and how it works. It doesn't get better than that. One-click magnetic mounting bottle set, and one click, that appeals to everyone. That's simple. Amazon.com was built on one-click purchasing. One-click anything is a winner with consumers. Now, this is for B2B buyers, but B2B buyers are in the mindset of the consumer, and they're thinking about what will work for their consumers, their customers. So but the proposition's right there. One-click magnetic mounting bottle set, unique in the market, and there's an image of it, and they've got a QR code. Unfortunately, that QR code doesn't go through to a dedicated landing page. 65. This is a great example, great offline to online example. Each of those QR codes goes through to a dedicated landing page, and you can follow it up yourself later and see how they do this. Really good Really good technique here. My only criticism is they splash the logo, the brand right across the top. That's a waste. Put it down the bottom or eliminate it completely. They've got the website there. That's all they need. So they should bring the solid, compact comfort as a value proposition and maybe narrow focus in on that and splash it across the top. That would have been more useful, more attractive. But that's a good example of offline to online. And then they're bringing customers from the trade show into their online sales funnel, their conversion funnel. Yeah, sure, they want people to come to the booth, but to kill two birds with one stone here. Yeah. All right, 66. Email newsletters. Well, I probably I've mentioned this a few times, haven't I? The consistency is everything. I mentioned that at the start of this session. Consistency is everything. Be consistent and don't give up. With an email, once you start one, don't stop. Never miss an edition. Just keep going. Know your audience. Give them what they need and not what you think they should have. Companies do too much of that. This is what we think you should know. No, get to know your audience and give them the content that they're looking for. 67. So yeah, back to Art Logo. They did this really well, and their call to get people onto the email list gives an item of great value there. They don't just say, hey, sign up to our email newsletter, because everyone's going to say, why should I do that, and move on. No, they say, get your, yeah, they're using that word, your new, another power word, personal branding workbook 2.0 for free. Wow, some good copy there. Good sales copy written there. So that will convert really well for them and they'll get people on their list. It's a good model to copy. So 68, here are some resources that you can go and find at your leisure. And I'm sorry, I'm going over time here. I'm just about to finish up. Plain email text are much better than fancy pages. It's not the design, it's the communication. 10 tips on one of the biggest newsletters of how to do it well. And then smaller focused audiences are better than mass millions of people. 69, Web3 and e-commerce. Well, this space is unfolding as I talk, and yeah, this is not going to impact us in e-commerce anytime soon. It's what's going on behind the scenes. It's going to make it better for banks and financial organizations to rationalize and streamline what they do. That will save their money. Whether they pass that on to us as the users of their products or to consumers in the end remains to be seen. But that just scratches the surface of what's happening now in the Web3 space, specifically in relation to e-commerce. But as I've said, Web3 is going to transform everything. And in my opinion, it beats out AI by a great margin because Web3 gives ownership to everyone, potentially. And that's the real game changer. So 79, what's on the last one? Ah, yes, we're finally done. Okay, Nicholas, over to you. And by clicking on, accessing that QR code, you can get the slides. So there we go. We're done. Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much for everyone. And thank you very much, Glenn. Do we have any questions? I think we do see a few questions on the chat. The first question is, one of the challenges that we are facing on Eswatini is creating the payment gateway for e-commerce due slow processes by regulators. How do we circumvent this? Otherwise, thank you for the information.
Oh, how do you circumvent that? Yeah. Stripe is one. Yeah, I don't know a lot about this area. Stripe is one I know works quite well. Yeah, this is one reason why Web3 and the blockchain innovations that are coming are going to help a lot here, because there are no intermediate third parties. All I can say is that this is all going to get a lot easier in the future. But circumventing that particular problem, well, for the company I work with, the B2B company who offer just that one product, they get around it by simply getting people to use PayPal, and they find that works really conveniently. Now, they don't have a lot of products, and they do have a lot of orders, but they don't have a lot of products, so they can sort of handle the volume. So it's efficient for someone to just send an email, and then the company emails back and says, right, yep, just pop the money into the PayPal account there. Bang, that goes through, and then that happens quite quickly and efficiently, but it doesn't happen immediately. You know, it's not automated. There isn't a payment gateway set up there. It's one of the reasons we opted not to do that, because of those problems. So yeah, I'm sorry, I can't be more more helpful with that, but watch the blockchain innovations in the future, because offering Bitcoin as a solution is not a solution, because the settlement times are very slow there. But Bitcoin has the Lightning Network built on top of it, which is instant peer-to-peer payment. And that works as fast as Apple Pay on a NFC checkout in a shop. So all I can say is, looking to the future, it's going to get a lot better.
All right, okay. Do we have anyone from IPA? From Eswatini? Okay. Well, I can see another question here. Is of the many e-commerce platforms, how do you select one that can match and fit the product that you want to sell?
Anyone will do. Anyone will do. It's just a matter of your budget really, and your level of knowledge.
Okay.
Sorry, that's okay. No, I just cleared my throat. Sorry, I've got this condition where I have I start to sound like a croaky old frog. So sorry. No, there's a lot more to say about that. It depends on your budget. It really comes down to that. Look, using WordPress and then getting WooCommerce up and running is that'll work for you, no problem. Using Shopify or one of those platforms, those automated web platforms, which you can drag and drop and build quickly, that will work for you. The magic here is really, number one, that you do have a good product, and that you're making yourself visible and discoverable. And everything I spoke about, SEO and then advertising technique, is designed to do that. Choosing the platform that you use is a little bit beside the point. Anyone will do for your product. It's not dependent on the product. Yeah, although I do recall that Shopify works really well for digital products, digital downloads. But notwithstanding that, having said that, anything will do. It's not a matter of what product suits what platform, but really what your budget and what your plan is. Make sure you've got a plan your funnel out, and then construct your Shopify or your WordPress based on that. Build out your funnel, and you're much more likely to see the success that you very likely deserve.
I think we do have one person raising his hand. Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. How are you, Nicholas and Glenn?
Oh, hello.
Hello. Very well, thank you.
Sorry, I was supposed to register there and indicate my name. You were asking if there is someone from IPA attending, and I'm one of those in attendance. But as an observer, because I have colleagues that side, because I'm currently here in Taiwan for some assignment. But yeah, I've been following the presentation, and thank you very much. In fact, I raised those questions because from our previous, physical webinar that we had, that was one of the problems in terms of the payment gateways. Then we were even lucky because we had someone from the regulator, explaining that, this is still a work in progress, and hopefully very soon they can unlock that, because it's preventing a lot of people from doing business, online and all of that. So yeah, but I thought maybe I should just indicate that I'm here, but hopefully the colleagues that are coordinating this will also jump in and say something.
Thank you very much. Okay, so do we have anyone? Okay, yeah, we do see another person raising his hand. Please go ahead, yes. I mean, yes, you can go ahead. I think the microphone is not off.
Could be off, yes.
Okay. Yeah, now it's on. Hello. Okay, I do see another question in the chats. What could improve sales to a company through social media marketing?
Well, Nicholas, do you have the link to the previous presentation back in May? Is that living somewhere in a dark corner of the internet, in an obscure corner somewhere that is it Devon can consult? Because yeah, we covered that in great detail. But look, I think social media marketing comes back to the sales funnel or the conversion funnel. A lot of the themes that I touched on today, I went in deeply into the talk last time, but it all comes back to that. You've got to map out your funnel. You've got to know your audience, and you've got to place ads in social media or build those pages with content that draws a crowd that you're trying to, that's your, what we call your total addressable audience. So it's from that total addressable audience that your prospective customers and your ultimate paying customers will come. So you've got to start by mapping out a plan, having a strategy, having a conversion funnel. We know where the traffic is. So you hop over to your TikTok, you create the content, and you direct people into your sales funnel. But you've got to know your audience and construct that funnel to get them moving through to the point where you want them to be, which is eventually clicking on your call to action and hopefully eventually putting money on the line. But if not, then getting on your email list. And these are the two things you should be aiming for by default. And I went through, I mentioned those platforms, Thrive Carts and ClickFunnels, and they do a brilliant job at this. They have this all automated, where if a person moving through the funnel backs off or goes in a different direction, they stop moving along the conversion path you want them to, then they can be diverted into an offer to get onto the email list. And it's all automated. So that should be the goal. But it all starts out with a plan. Plan it out carefully to start off with, and be consistent. Change things that are not working, and you will have success. You're guaranteed to have success. Yeah.
Okay. So does anyone else have any question? Then I think we are.
Nicholas,
Yes.
I'm just posting questions that were taken during, so when they registered, they posted a couple of questions. I'm just going to post those through now. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I see one.
Oh yes, how to create content for target market. Okay, just go back to the part of this talk where I was talking about getting topics for the website. The tofu, mofu, and bofu topic selection. So you get the keyword tool. You could use the Mangools keyword finder. You use the find content on competitors' websites. So you got to know at minimally your top 3 competitors. You just drop the URLs into the search tool. It'll go through, scrape, bring out all the website keywords. You go through there and you take the keywords one by one and put them into the keyword finder, and then work out which ones will be good for you to pursue. So you got to go for the ones with the high traffic and that are low difficulty, because it all costs money to do this, and by targeting the easiest ones first will be more cost effective. And that sets up everything else. You can create great content once you do that, but you've got to find what content people are looking for in your target area, in your business area. You've got to know that, and you've got to use a tool. Don't guess it yourself, and don't think as a business person working in a particular business niche or industry niche that you know everything. You probably don't know much at all. Use the tools to do that, and just by doing that, you'll be off to the races. So just go back and look at the resources that I've laid out for you in this seminar. That'll help you a lot with that. How to get orders online. That would have been a good title for today's talk, I think. Yeah, that's nationally or internationally. It depends on your market. You know, people within the borders and outside the borders. And actually, the keyword tool I recommended, their keyword finder, they will show exactly the volumes of search volume and keyword difficulty for any country that you ask of it. Really hugely powerful. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it's done. Is it easy? No, it's not. Does it take time? Yes. Is it expensive? Advertising is expensive in the long run. SEO is expensive in the short term, but over the long term, the marginal cost of SEO and creating good content goes down. Whereas with advertising to bring people to your website and get them to order your products, it's very expensive. So you need to be doing both if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, SEO can be done well, cheaply and easily.
Okay, I think because of the time, we are going to open to one more question.
Okay.
Okay, please go ahead. Somebody's raising his hand.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nicholas. It's me again. Just want to check, in fact, to confirm that in my recollection, we should be having the recording for the last webinar we had in May, and also maybe to also check if we can also have access to this one so that we can post it on our virtual platform so that people can go back to it. I think in your presentation, yeah. I think Glenn made a reference to some reading material that. So perhaps as we go through it again, we can be able to get books or whatever that we can read for further reference and understanding.
Yes, I've given you a lot. It's been a real dump of information here. It's very concentrated, and I've moved very quickly through it. Yes, the answer is yes. Optimization of website is a little bit different. Search engine optimization is optimizing each page of your website to be found in search. So yeah, they're similar, but not exactly the same. So it's a matter of how you talk about it. You talk about, well, optimizing, we're going to optimize our website. Well, what for? Well, we're going to optimize it for the search engines. Okay. And you do that by creating great content. Now, optimizing for conversion is what I talked about in a lot of the second part of the e-commerce section there, where I showed you how to construct a page so people will engage with it, will read it, and they will move to your call to action and move through your conversion funnel. So that's optimizing for conversion. So on one hand, you optimize for search and you optimize for conversion. And those are the two processes you go through on your website. Yeah, I hope that clarifies it. Does it?
Okay, thank you very much. I think for today that will be up. Thank you everyone for the participation. Thank you very much, Glenn, and thank you very much for Ipa also as well. And I guess we'll meet again next year.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe also to extend our word of appreciation as well on behalf of APA to you, Glenn, and to Taitra for coordinating. We really appreciate. So as you said, we will have the links to these recordings and we'll post them into our virtual platform. So otherwise, thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you for attending.
Other participants.
Thank you very much to all the participants as well.
Yes, thank you.